All right, I think we're live, folks. Yeah, we're live. We're going to start. Or not. What am I clicking here? Please pause for station identification. What happened to my control panel? Ah, there we go. All right. First time I've used this since the update, so please bear with me. This will all be edited out. I told you this was going to be a train wreck. Once again, bear with me. I should probably test this beforehand. Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. So the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. I'm your host as always, and it's always been this way since I've been born. I've been Seth Goldstein, so I don't really know how to start these podcasts, so just being goofy. Today I'm here with Tim Dodd of JTD Group. I got it right the first time. Nice. Hey Tim, how's it going, buddy?
Go Blue Hens, it's going well.
Yeah, I could have worn it. I have a lighter color. Goldstein Media hat I could have worn, but it didn't go with the shirt, so I have to match. So matchy. But so Tim, it's been a while. I don't even know how I first met you. Like I think it was through LinkedIn or something, or maybe in person. I don't know.
No, we met at the PANMA event in our 20s when. Well, you're a little younger than me, but yeah, we met at PANMA.
You remember? I just know we've been friends forever on LinkedIn, and like literally, I'm like, I gotta get this guy on the show. I mean, he's no Guy Kawasaki, but he's still Tim Dodd, and your name does precede yourself. It really does. You say, hey, I'm having Tim on this show, and everyone's like, all right, I'm tuning in, and people are tuning in, which is awesome. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. So we usually do this on Zencastr, but I decided to do these live again, and as those who were watching it live saw that there was a little bit of a train wreck as I was trying to insert the music ahead of time. Didn't practice this ahead of time, so there you go. So anyhow, enough inside baseball. Tim, how you doing today on this hot day in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I'm at the beach and it's wonderful, so I love it.
Lucky duck. You got the ocean breeze and all that stuff. Jersey Shore, Delaware Shore,
and Wildwood in New Jersey.
There you go. What's your address? We'll dox you. No, I'm joking.
You can come down. There's a fair number of Philly people that actually have places down here. So during COVID, it was great. You could just meet up with people a lot easier.
At the beach where the breeze, you can't get sick and all that stuff. So that's wild. That's awesome, man. So Tim, you have done a lot. You have, for as long as I know, you've been doing something in sales and revenue growth and BDR stuff, and you're also a fellow Blue Hen, which is awesome. Go Blue Hens, go Delaware. And so tell us a little bit about your journey. Have you always done the entrepreneurial thing, or did you do the corporate overlords and stuff?
Yeah, so for people that aren't from Philadelphia, I'll give you a little journey. So I went to University of Delaware and really struggled in engineering. Went to computer science, graduated doing that, and then there's some really amazing programmers out there. So I decided that either I would have to be a lot better, or I could just transition into a sales role and make good money doing sales. So I started at a company that now is Digitas Health. So it was my first real programming job.
NBC, right?
Yeah, in medical broadcasting, and kept touch with those people. Then went to a company called Diamond Technologies down in Delaware, and that's when I transitioned into sales. And my first deal was W.L. Gore. So I at the time, Chris Coons was their legal counsel. We were on United Way together, and he introduced me to the CIO, and that was my first deal. And I just loved, applying engineering and thinking and problem solving to sales, but not having to debug code. Went to host my site. Yeah. So went to host my site. Those guys sold, went to a company in Philly called XTM. Those guys sold, and then in my 30s, thinking, what am I going to do? So I started doing a lot of different things, and just had like a handful of clients part time, and then right before COVID hit, I went full time into my own company. So it's
Oh
been a
wow.
great journey.
And that's kind of what happens. You see, people real don't people. So I'm working on the layout here. People don't see. They seem to go when there's adversity. They go out on their own. And like I started Goldstein Media back in 2008. Best time to start a business at a world recession. But I started the business, and it's been going great for 15 years. And a lot of people went out on their own at COVID because they felt like, they either lost their job, in the corporate, or they're like, I'm ready to do my own thing. I'm home. Let me do my own thing, kind of thing. Oh, that's very
Yeah,
well
so
said there.
I did it in January, which really no one knew what COVID was really at that point, unless you were in
Yeah.
China. So yeah, my best client from Host My Site was like, hey, I want to bring you on full time as a
That's where you
salesperson. I
were.
said,
That's where
bring me
you
on
were.
as a
Yeah.
contractor.
That's when we met. Host My Site. I remember those guys.
Yeah, it's
Are they still
all the
around?
Panda guys were hosting all their little, you know, shared hosting sites, and then bringing me all their big deals to me. So it
Yeah,
was a
Pam.
great moneymaker.
Yeah, Pam and May, rest in peace. I talked to Reed. It's not coming back. But
Well, they're
Pam
supposed to
was
do a
Philip.
networking.
What's that?
There's a networking event that's going to happen in May.
Oh, really? Shows what I know.
Yeah,
But Pam is Philadelphia or Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. I think it's Philadelphia
Philadelphia
New,
Area New Media Association.
which is now the new media that they were talking about was the internet, back when they started 30 years
Exactly.
ago. And well, that's not new media anymore. So, but definitely, that'll be great to see that everyone back. At least for a happy hour or whatnot. They didn't survive the pandemic. I mean, honestly, it was getting a little long in the tooth a little bit. I mean, they could probably do Web3 and kind of stuff like that. But anyhow, we're digressing here. So now you're doing your own thing. You're a fractional CSO, sales officer, right?
Well, so I work with fractional, like chief marketing officers, sales officers, and I'm basically doing the work.
Oh, so you're the
So
fractional for
you,
the fractional.
yeah. So during COVID, there was a huge uptick of, like when I was at Host My Site, we would just be on 30-minute phone calls all day, right? So there's a
Mm,
huge uptick of customers that had to get on the phone and sell virtually,
yeah.
right? They couldn't go meet up in person. So what I started doing was managing people's LinkedIn profiles and then getting
Yeah.
them sales qualified leads. So if Seth's really good at being creative and doing the discovery calls and all that stuff, my job is to get customers in front of you that are likely to buy.
Ooh,
And then,
we should definitely talk.
yeah. So as the LinkedIn world has gone from connect and pitching to content and,
Hmm.
commenting and all those things, now I'm starting to train my customers how to use LinkedIn effectively. And
Hmm.
then I'll use my tools to help keep the funnel going. And then we have a project manager and virtual assistants that will make sure that you're not dropping the ball on your leads, but ultimately you're the one doing the meetings and closing your deals.
Oh my god, I love that. That's you're more than just a deal maker, like a meeting taker. You're also making sure that you're following through. That the person that hires you is following through, which is often a missing link. They're saying, "Well, nothing came through with it." I'm like, "Well, did you follow up with them?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Well, that's on you, not me. I got you in front of them. You're making sure that they follow through, which is great."
Right. So what you find in the lead generation space, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of companies just give you meetings for the sake of meetings. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you're running your own business, you're doing the work. You don't have time just to take meetings. You want those to have a fair chance of closing. So we're
Yeah.
trying to stick with technology companies because I've sold tech before. So
Yeah.
I understand who your ideal customer profile is. I understand the enterprise sale and going after clients that can't afford a full-time enterprise sales rep, but have
Yeah.
the same needs.
That's fantastic. So, what to you? Because you've done the host my site, you've done the corporate up to the pandemic era. What is the best thing about being an entrepreneur?
I think you could pick the clients that you work with, right? So when you're a
Yeah.
full-time employee, I would say that's your paycheck, right? That's 90% of your
Hmm.
income. When you're an entrepreneur and you got like a lot of these fractional guys might have 4 to 8 customers, one customer goes away, it doesn't change your pocketbook, right? So
Hmm.
that's one advantage. But then just picking the clients that you like. A lot of my clients I've known my whole sales career, and I'm able to
Wow.
work with them and just add value. I know them well. I know they can execute, and that's what I love, right? And then, like in your world, maybe someone comes to you 5 days from now and says, "I need a website." Then a year from now, they say, "Hey, I need to redo their website." So
Oh, I
you get to
love
work
that.
with the same core people over and over again, even if it's not every consistent month. So
Yeah. Sorry. So on the flip side, what keeps you up at night?
um, for me, a lot of it's been execution. I mean, trying to scale the business as a solopreneur is a little nuts.
Hmm.
I get really
That's putting it
nuts when I have
lightly.
too many clients. What's that?
That's putting it lightly. It's kind of nuts. It's a little nuts. No, it's nuts. Trying to scale and make things grow and all that. So, and how's that been going so far?
So Q1 was really weird. I think a lot of customers were just trying to figure things out, and then I usually get hit like maybe not the first start of a quarter, but like the second day, right? They've like evaluated their quarter, and then they're like, "Hey, I really need help." So,
Yeah.
the first week of March was absolutely nuts. I've done a couple sales training classes for companies, so I'm just trying to get them to get going on the social selling side, and I've
That's
seen
awesome.
some really good results of just giving them really unique tips. Like I went
Yeah.
viral on that post, so I did
That
a
post,
top
that post is
100.
awesome. We'll put that
Yeah,
in
I did a
the
top
show
100,
notes.
and I'm now making all our clients do it. So
That's
hopefully,
awesome,
some of our
dude.
mutual friends will be posting that. We're going to do a top 100 of veterans. So for anyone in Philly, there's a whole Philly SEALs community, and
Oh,
there's
there's
a
a
lot of
lot of
women in
seals in
tech.
there.
So
Yeah.
for the guys in yeah, a lot of the guys in Philly, I think they get a lot of recognition, but I want to give the women and our veterans some play and some airtime. So
Absolutely.
the
Love
first
it.
list that I did, like one of my friends was complaining about the list, and I was like, well, out of a list of 100, like 49 are women. Like I was pretty like balanced, and then I got a couple
Yeah, you
people that
you you did a good job. I mean, it was a really good
so
job, and I was very impressed about how
it was
fast you
all
turned it
just
around.
randomly filtered from asking for recommendations. It wasn't intentionally going to be equally balanced, but we got a lot of really good people that don't typically get on the top
Yeah.
lists or the recommendations or recognitions. And what's awesome from a virality of it is any of us can go tag Gary Vee and say Gary Vee's a great guy, but you go and put like, "Hey, Seth, I've nominated you," right?
Yeah.
Seth's going to get excited. He's going to like brag about it, right? So there's
Oh,
so many
absolutely.
people that were so flattered and honored, and they were like reposting my post. They were commenting on it. The guys
That's
that
great.
are
Well,
millions of viewers, if I did the top 100 of all these $1 million people, none of that post wouldn't have gone viral. But giving recognition to
exactly.
people that have really good posts or really interesting things that I think are valuable that other people maybe aren't aware of, the
Hmm.
post just did its work on its own. It was awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic, and we'll put that. We'll share that in the show notes so people can find that out. So here's the big question. This is the question. I mean, I know, think you know it because you call me the Oprah of podcasting, and I'm like, I'm not quite the Oprah of podcasting, but thank you for that. What is the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
For me, it's been my phone. Like that's what I think our ability to function as people. I remember during the election, I did some election work, and I went for hikes. So John McCain always had this famous story that he would go watch a movie during his elections. So I
Really?
just put my phone down and I went for a walk, and it was like I don't think I've done it in like 10 years not having my phone on me.
Isn't that
So
freaky though? Because it's like we think about the phone, our whole lives are on this device, and you can do almost every you can do everything on it pretty much. And putting it down and walking away, even to the mailbox. In my case, walking to the mailbox, I feel detached, and it's both scary, freaky, and liberating at the same time. Like,
yeah,
like we're both in our 40s, and when we were kids, they had cell phones, but they were bricks, and they were a fortune to have, and kids didn't have them. So you went to something called a payphone. And so when you were out on your bike riding around, your parents just had to hope that you'd be home by the time it got dark. Nowadays, kids have their cell phones; they're on it. They'll be in the same room sometimes, texting each other. I'm like, it's called you're right across the room from each other. Hasn't happened yet with my 10-year-old, but it's interesting. So
yeah,
Tim, you go ahead.
it's great. Oh yeah, just I always go back to my days of being a Boy Scout and camping, and just try to remember what it was like and the freedom of like not having to respond instantly to something. So get rid of your phone. I usually do it in the afternoons on a Saturday. I'll just like, get away from my phone for like 4 hours. And it's
Wow.
one of the most liberating experiences, which is bizarre, but yeah.
Isn't that weird? It's very weird, but but nowadays it's that kind of thing. So, Tim, where can people find you online? Where is the best place? Where is your watering hole? Let me guess. Twitter? No, it's LinkedIn. So,
yeah, my when back in the PAMA days, it was definitely Twitter, but yeah, it's LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn handle is just my first initial, J Tim Dodd. So LinkedIn's the best. I'm redoing the website, so it's not really what I want this week. But next week,
so don't look at it yet.
Up.
Don't look at it yet.
Yeah. Especially if you're Seth or any creative person, I don't want any judgment yet until it's up.
No, but I'll definitely take a look and give you my point of view. Absolutely. So, Tim, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for being my guinea pig for getting this to be a live stream again. So that, thank you for being brave and jumping into the thicket of this. And
man, this is great.
And we'll see everyone next time. And be sure to follow us on entrepreneursenigma.com. You can follow us over on LinkedIn, company/entrepreneurs-enigma. And we'll see everyone next week. Or not even next week. We'll see everyone in 2 days. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode. This podcast is one of the many great shows on the MPN Marketing Podcast Network.